What's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to another episode Dialed In. We are here with IFBB PRO Jay.
That'd be me, Cody's first pro.
Oh, had to throw that in there. I like it.
That's it.
I like it.
Also, the only person to win 2 open classes under Cody.
There's also that. We got to flex in everybody. Love to
Got
see
to. Got to. Tell me right.
it. So, game plan today. There's a couple things I want to ask Jay. I want to talk about competing. I want to talk about like being a social media influencer. I want to talk about maybe a little bit about the Olympia. We're going to start with the Olympia first, and let's just dive straight into it. And of course, Jay, stop me anytime. If you want to ask me something from my point of view, hit me. But the first thing I want to say, just right off the top with the Olympia just passing by, what are your thoughts on the Olympia? And I know that since you're a classic physique pro, tell me what you think about that specifically.
Dude, I think Terrence should have won. I'm a firm believer that Terrence should have won. I think Terrence had the most complete physique, and in my eyes, that is classic physique. I'm always going to be biased towards people that have bigger legs, but I also thought that I don't get the hype with Ramon. He was peeled. His shot shots are super money, but when you compare like front double and back double, I think he loses to Mike and Terrence. And I think Mike lacked the size in his lower half, which they tend to favor, like bigger upper body than lower body. But like Terrence was the only one that top to bottom matched like perfectly. And with Ramon's back, I think it's just a lot of arm. Like that's all I look at. And it could have been how he posed because he posed different this year than he has in the past. I think he posed a little bit more upright. But like all I see is giant ass arms, and it kind of takes away from his lats, in my opinion. His conditioning was fucking nutty, but with Sebum leaving, like the division was up in the air, like what the standard is, and I think that kind of like set the standard. But Mike and Terrence both have better structure than Dino. Like their tapers were crazier from the front and from the back. In my opinion, that's kind of what makes classic and not open bodybuilding. To me, Ramon reminds me of a smaller open bodybuilder, not a classic physique guy.
What do you say to people that say that Mike is more of a bodybuilder than a classic physique guy? Because I know that, Terrence, I would never be like, yes, he's a 212 guy. Like that doesn't even click in my head when I look at Terrence. But some people say that applies to Mike.
Yeah, I don't get that because if he's actually 5'9", which is my height, he's way too tall for 212. If he stood next to Keon, it's belt to ass. Like he can't compete with guys that are way shorter. They're going to be pushing the
course.
cat. So like he would be an open guy. I mean, shit, he's taller than Martin, and Martin's an open guy. So I get because he's so big. But like his lower body from a 212 perspective is lacking. And that's the same thing that lacked when he went against Sebum was like the hamstrings and glutes from the back and then big giant quad sweep. He doesn't have, you go compare him next to 212 guys and he's small. So I think it's a lot of the pictures that people saw in the offseason. And I also think it's a bunch of casual takes, people that are just stupid. Like you're not 5'9" and competing at 212. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, people forget that some of those guys are genuinely 5'4" to 5'7". That's not uncommon. If you were 5'10" and 212, it'd be like you were a giant. You're an NBA player in this division here.
Yeah, and you would be an open guy. And even the open guys, you look at the top guys, Derek and Hadi Chupin both shorter than me. I've met them both. Yep. They're both shorter than me. They're both under 5'9". Martin's shorter. Andrew Jackson, Samson are both really tall. But outside of that, like your top 5, everyone's short. So like he would be an open guy, not a 212 guy. All the 212 guys are all even shorter than those guys. That's why they're in 212 and not in the open division.
Shout out to all the short kings out there. You don't got to be tall to be successful.
No, you don't.
In bodybuilding. in bodybuilding.
No, not at all.
But that was my only Olympic question. I had Terrence winning, truthfully. When I had Mike in third personally, but I had I was gonna have it be Terrence, it was gonna be Ramon, then it was gonna be Mike, and then fourth, I wasn't sure. But I just really think Terrence was complete top to bottom. He just has that, he doesn't remind me of a bodybuilder stuck in classic. That's what I think when I see him. He looks perfect. Now, do I think that Ramon is just super aesthetically pleasing to look at and he's just more spaced out than Terrence? Yes. But do I think Mike kind of looks like an open bodybuilder in some shots? Yes. But it could have been anyway in any of them. I don't think I had like a set, like he for sure won. These guys didn't deserve to win. I think it was closer than that.
Yeah, because they had it at one point between Mike and Dino. And then Terrence was clearly in third. I think I would have had Terrence first, Mike second. Dino would have battled it up like for like third, fourth, and fifth. Like he would have, I would have compared him to them. So I think his structure is closer to them. Them putting Dino first and then Mike and Terrence like second, third makes a little bit of sense because they're closer in structure. Like they to me have significantly better structure. So if that's not what they were valuing, but I mean, Steve Like's fucking massive, and Dino's a giant motherfucker.
He is, bro. His forearms.
That's what I'm saying.
When he shakes people's hands, his forearms are this big. Genuinely.
Like when you go back, okay, Sebum was the standard. Like Sebum's arms were never giant.
No,
That's
never.
classic's always been the division that like it's not about having fucking bazooka arms because in my eyes that can be like overpowering, takes away from your
Yep.
side shots.
Same for men's physique as well. You don't need
Yeah,
big ass arms.
exactly. And so like when you go in a back double and all I'm looking at is bicep, tricep, and forearm, and I'm not really looking at like the width in your back. I don't know, but it's like so that was Terrence's best look by far,
Easily.
and if
But do you think
classic
that
is
was?
truly
But do you think that
classic,
was Ramon's best look as well? Though that was definitely like both of their best looks, right?
yeah, I mean
Mike looked good last year, this year too. He looked insane in both.
Yeah, it was definitely Dino's look, and obviously he was knocking on the door with when Chris was there and stuff like that. But I don't know, especially like if classic is truly classic, and we're taking in posing in consideration. Like Terrence is by far the best poser. So how much does that give you? Like how many
I mean, it
points?
might win
How
you
many
like a
brownie points
People's
is that?
Champ or Best Poser award, but I don't know if they immediately take it into that.
So I don't know. We'll see. I know Terrence is competing. I think this weekend or maybe the next weekend.
I think
So
he's competing this weekend. Yeah,
yeah, so,
Keon competing. It's going to be Keon versus Martin, by the way. If you didn't see that, so 212
yeah,
Keon
that's
versus
that's
that.
gonna
That's
be.
going to be fun.
Martin's gonna obviously bring the conditioning, but man, Keon's a fucking freak, bro. He's so fucking good.
The most
I love
insane.
Martin, man. I think Martin will edge him out in conditioning, and I think Martin will.
Well, and he's bigger. It's still open. It's not 212, But at the same time, now Keon doesn't have to suck himself down to make weight. So
Yeah,
what is that going to do to him?
yeah, that's the other thing. So I think Keon will probably be like 215 or so. I think Martin was 230 on stage. And Martin, I think, is a slightly bit taller, but Keon's proportions are crazy. It's going to be a really good
So,
battle. And I
so
think it's
what?
going to be
Who are you picking now? Got to pick one. Who you got?
I got to go with my boy Martin, man. I've always rocked with Martin. So I'm
He's
gonna.
on Rise, right?
No, he's not
He's
with
on
Rice.
Rise.
He used to be with Rice. So I'm
Mm,
gonna go with Martin. Martin's conditioning
gotcha.
is always next level, and that's always been something that Keon has struggled with. But when Keon decides to go to open for real, shit,
It's gonna be a
he's
battle.
gonna tear some shit up.
All right. So moving on, I got a couple topics and questions for you specifically. So right off the bat, what did it take mentally and physically to earn your pro card? Was there? You've done shows before. We've done national before. You did other shows with a different coach before. But what was different about this prep? What do you feel like it took to turn pro, knowing you're going to be going against 30 and 40 other guys that were all top tier?
The biggest thing that changed, I guess, in the prep that I turned pro and other preps was me taking care of my body as if I was already a pro. I spent a lot of money on, recovery, going to get deep tissue, stuff like that. Like every prep, I pushed myself really hard. Obviously, I was the leanest my most recent prep, but that was the biggest change amongst all the preps. Is that like I was like, okay, I'm going to invest into myself as much as I can, whether it was going to get an IV, investing in the best quality food, going and get the deep tissue work. And like, I noticed the biggest difference in like how fatigued I was. I pushed myself the hardest, but the prep prior, not counting fatigue, but strictly like how my body felt, like my body felt way worse in the prep that we did the universe versus when
Yeah.
we did USA's. And that was just because I invested that much more into my body and kind of recovering and stuff like that.
Yeah. I also feel that from a coaching standpoint, I fed you far less at the previous year because I didn't know your body. I recall you being like, oh, hey, Cody, by the way, we're going to nationals in like 13 weeks or something. I was like, oh, okay, Jay. Perfect. Perfect. Let's do this. No data, no nothing, but let's do
Yeah,
this.
you almost like turned me down at first. You remember that?
I
Because I
just
was classic.
I remember thinking, this is just like thinking back what it was. I was like, okay, this, I like Jay first off, but this could go one of two ways. Either we kill it and it's going to make me look really good as a coach, be like, hell yeah, I turn him pro, or we're not going to have enough time. I'm not going to figure out his body. He's going to shit the bed. People are going to be like, Cody sucks ass. I'm never going to hire him again. It's like, I'm willing to take that risk. I'm willing to do this.
Yeah, I
But
remember you telling me like you gave me other recommendations for the classic coaches, and I was like Cody, I don't need help growing my lower body. Like I've done that. I was like I need to train like a men's physique guy. I was like I don't want to work with someone else. I know I can find someone else who knows what they're doing, but like a coach client relationship is very very big on like making sure personalities and styles match well. Like people buy from who they like, and so
of
I didn't
course,
want to go work with some random person.
yeah, I probably wasn't going to be the one to, giving you cheat meals or anything, but hey, that's why you had shredded butt cheeks.
That is true.
No complaints. All right. No, that's pretty much it. Out of all the preps you did, though, which was the hardest? Whether it was amateur, this one, what was the hardest in your opinion?
Oh, definitely my national when I turned pro. Like I've never been so exhausted in my life. It reached a point where if I was sitting in a chair and there was like for example, that we were out and our puppy was playing in the backyard and like he was doing some bad shit and I wanted to go like look, I wouldn't turn more than this. Like if it took my body to like get up and move, like after I did cardio and everything, like I was exhausted. Like I had zero energy. Or if I was in a situation to where I couldn't like be quiet, I had to like exhaust my social battery. Like after it'd be like I got hit with a Mack truck. Like I'd have no energy whatsoever for
How many
anything.
weeks out was this? Like, was this the whole time? Was this like
This
4 weeks
was
out and close? You know?
4 or 5 weeks out from the first show, so
Oh, okay.
7 or 8 weeks out from the
Yeah.
national show.
In
Yeah,
my opinion, I still feel like I pushed you at least 90% for that one. I was like, we need to leave a little bit in the tank for nationals and not bring you in too flat and depleted, but it was hard for sure.
yeah. I mean, it was the coast from the regional show after winning the overall to like the national show wasn't really that hard. Like our cardio didn't
No,
really go up.
no.
I already had pushed my body like to its limit.
You went from like 6.8% the first show to like 5.5% the second show. You know, you lost an extra percent and got a little more shredded, but there wasn't that much more work to be
Yeah,
done.
I think we came in. I want to say 2 pounds lighter. For the
Yeah.
national show. I want to say about 2 pounds, give or take.
Yeah. I know it was close. I remember we didn't have to do that much.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I was right there, and just a little bit more time of doing what we already were doing was all I needed. It wasn't that like I needed to push myself. I mean, I don't know if you remember, but I remember asking you multiple times if I could do more or I could do all my cardio at once. And like you
Yes.
had to tell me to not do. When I'm in prep, I
Yeah,
just like
I remember exactly. I remember this exact sentence because there's you're not the only one. This exact sentence happens every once in a while. I'll be like, okay, guys, I want this amount of double cardio days. It could range between 90 to 100 minutes, hypothetically, 90 to 100. And you're like, Cody, give me a specific number. And I was like, I did. I gave you 90 to 100. Do 90. If you feel good, do the extra 10. If you don't feel good, don't do the extra 10. You're like, I'm gonna die on this Stairmaster.
yeah,
Give
that's
me the
just how.
number.
Like that's how it was. You even at one point, I think we cut out the stairmaster because I just want to do what's hardest. Like when I'm in prep,
Of
like
course.
I just get in this like I'm gonna like David Goggin mode. Like I'm gonna die for it, and like I'm gonna give it
Literally.
everything that I mean, there's a couple times where not this prep, but the prep before I almost went hypo. It was pretty. I had a couple scares, but I'm always just like if you don't tell me, if you give me an option between the bike and the stairmaster, I'm taking the stairmaster. Even though
Gotcha.
the
Next time I'll stay the
significant.
elliptical and be a little more conservative.
Yeah, the elliptical's cool, but I fucking hate that thing, bro. I feel like an old dude on that fucking thing. Just
Really?
sitting pumping it. I hate that shit
Have
so
you ever
much.
done hit cardio on an elliptical before? Ever?
No,
Next time you do cardio, just try it because you could go so fast and so hard for a minute and then take 30 seconds off and like your body feels pretty good because you're not hurting your knees, you're not hurting your elbows. You could still get all the hardcore intensity without the downside of it. You know, like imagine doing hit on a treadmill. Like that's rough on your knees, hypothetically. So it
yeah,
could be something you can mess with.
yeah. It's great for the body. I just hate
Oh yeah,
like
no,
the
you
times
feel like you feel like an old
I
guy.
look in the mirror and I'm watching my striations in my legs as I'm pumping on the fucking elliptical, and I got Susan 4 machines down from me, just enjoying her day, and I'm like, fuck, dude.
Hey, you know, does she have shredded butt cheeks, Jay? I don't think
No,
so. You
nah,
know?
Susan did not have shredded butt cheeks.
All
She
right. So
also
for
wasn't
people,
on trend.
you don't know that. She might have been on peptides.
That's true. She's
So
natty.
for those who don't know, how many years did it take for you to go pro? How many shows did it take for you to go pro? And then following up to that, what do you think about this younger generation that are pretty much just trying to be the youngest pro no matter what? Like they're just like, I need to be pro at 18. I need to be pro at 19. So I know it's a lot of
Gotcha.
questions, but start wherever you want to.
So I turned pro after like 3.5 years, a little over 3.5 years of working out. So it didn't. I mean, that's a lot. That's faster than most people are going to be. Obviously, I hopped on rather early in that, and it took me. It was my third season of competing. So I did the Europa. I won my class. Went to USA's. I placed bottom 16. Now, had I brought the conditioning I brought to that regional show, which was competitive regional show, I beat out 26 guys. I
Yeah.
maybe would have got like third calls. I was just undersized, way undersized, and I thought I was gonna do something. And that's when we started working together. I did the universe and got fourth, and then took some time off, and then or I got fifth, and then took some time off. We went and prepped again, and then I turned pro. But I ended up turning pro in men's physique. I got fourth in classic. I truly think if I would have done that first show and taken more time off, I could have turned pro in less than 3.5 years. But because I competed every year, it kind of delayed when I would get my pro card. And the whole like youngest pro, no one gives a fuck. Like no one cares. No one talks about Anton being the youngest IFBB pro or Jack Engels or Eagles, whatever his name is. No one talks about that. No one cares. Because once you turn pro, no one cares that you are a pro. As an amateur, everyone wants to be pro. And like it's almost like a badge of honor. Like you're hyped to, be able to rock the belt that says IFBB pro or have the patch on your bag. But like once you start hanging around with people that are active pros, you're like, oh, like I'm just a regular person now. It's the Olympians who are now
Yeah.
at that, level that everyone's looking up to. And so now, youngest Olympian, like Anton, shout out to Anton, he just qualified for the 26. Like that's a flex. But like no one
Yes.
really cares that much about like the youngest pro or whatever. And it's hard. Like we're talking elite, and I mean elite genetics, and social media just, magnifies all that and thinks that everyone has great genetics for bodybuilding and great genetics for gear and all this stuff because that's what you see on your social media page. But in reality, that's a very, very small, like probably like 0.1% of the actual population that has that good of genetics to be that young and look that crazy. I mean, the dude in 212, I think he's 22 years old or 21. He
Yeah.
got forced.
I can't think what his name is, but I know who you're talking about. Yes.
Yeah, bro, what did that
Who else has a physique like that in the entire earth? Nobody.
Even at his age, like, what did this dude like start to get fucking hairs on his nuts and started taking testosterone? Like, at what age did he blast to be able to compete in that fucking division? And like, what levels of which amount
Yeah,
of gear?
he's top 5 in the world in the best bodybuilding federation on earth. He probably started like mid like 16.
Yeah, which is absolutely insane. But what people don't realize is he probably didn't compete for like 4 years and just kept his head down and just fucking grinded.
True.
Everyone just wants to hop on stage and everyone thinks that they're a lot better than they are. It's a lot of conversations I have with a lot of my clients is when I tell them how long I think it'll take for them to go pro, they're like, oh, my last coach said that, like next year. I said, shit, if you're rolling the dice on hoping no one shows up, but like, we're not trying to do that. We're not trying to play that game. We want to be undeniable.
Yeah, no, I mean, leading up to that, just from a coaching standpoint, that's so 2025. So 2024, 2025, I've talked about this before, I'm pretty blunt about it, but it's been the most delusional clients I've ever had. So some I work with, some I don't. And I try to tell them, bro, they get so offended. They're like, hey, I want to do USAs. And like, we'll be like 16 weeks out. I'm like, oh, like 2026 USAs. Like, no, 2025. Like that's 16 weeks away. And you're, 5'7", 240. Like with a beer belly, like we're not going to make. He's like, I could get shredded by then. It's like, we're going to lose muscle tissue by cutting you down 60 pounds in the next 4 months. And like every once in a while, they're like, oh, so you don't believe in me. They like try to like reverse it. So is that a gaslighting example? Sounds gaslighting like, but those like, oh, so you don't believe in me. It's like, no, I do believe in you. That if we do the show in 2026, you're going to have a good chance of fighting it. I was like, so you won an overall with your other coach? No, I took 3rd place at a regional show. Okay, well then how are we going to go to USAs? You want to win the overall? It's just so hard, man, because I don't want to be a dickhead to them. I'm not like, you're an idiot. I'm not working with you. I'd like to be like, hey, let's work together. Let's do a regional show. If we smoke everybody and win the overall, then yeah, let's talk about nationals. And they only want to do that. They just want to go straight to nationals.
Yeah, here's a good rule of thumb as that I've noticed, and obviously I turned pro under you. I've had 3 people turn pro this year, 23 overall wins this year. I don't know if we'll get any more. I don't know if we'll get any more. I thought I was going to finish with a couple pro cards, but one of my clients decided to hang it up for the year. But when the classic physique division, if you are not pushing your weight cap, you're probably not going to be in the mix. And just because you can win your class doesn't mean you should be at nationals. Now, I won my class in men's physique, and I was like 5th overall, and then I ended up turning pro. But that was a very, very competitive regional show. Like that was a pretty stacked. There was like 3 people that turned pro.
That was a national level show.
Yeah, there was 3 people that turned pro that year. But like as far as classes, just because you win the overall, it doesn't mean that you have the size to go compete with the national level guys. Vincent's a great example. Vincent won. I think we won 4 overalls this year. And everyone asked, like, why aren't you going to a national stage? It's because we're under the weight cap. Like, we're going to be playing the game of who shows up. In December Nationals isn't a who shows up kind of national show. It's you better be bringing your A game because there's a lot of competitors in that. And so if you aren't near your cap, and there's some freaks that can be under their cap and turn pro, but chances that you're listening to this and you're one of those freaks is not it. It's probably not it because you would know. Like, you want to be pushing that weight cap. You don't want to play the game of who's showing up. And yes, some national shows are more competitive than others, but if you can't even win your class, you're just going to nationals for an experience. And if you can't win the overall, or maybe if you do win the overall and it's not that competitive, you're still probably just going to be going for the experience, because everyone thinks that just because you qualify for nationals, that means you're ready for nationals. There's a
No.
reason why there's sometimes
No.
30 guys in a class, and that is not a flex for anyone who's fucking competing. It is not a flex that you had X number of people in your class. That does not mean that your class was deep. Show me the first call out. That will tell you how deep the class was. Universe this year, Class B, one of the deepest classes I've ever seen in classic physique. Like, there was 8 guys who looked fucking crazy. Everyone was peeled. Like, everyone was near the weight cap or pushing the weight cap. Like, that was a super deep lineup. But like, people talk about like, oh yeah, I had 60 guys in my class. Yeah, well, 55 of them look like shit. And they shouldn't have been there. Like, that's not a flex.
25 of them should not have been there. 25 of them, we don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, like it's not a flex. So men's physique's a little different. Obviously, there's not weight caps and stuff like that, but a good rule of thumb for classic is if you're not on the cusp of that weight cap, probably don't want to be competing, which makes it hard for national level competitors like Trevor and Mitri are 2 great examples this year. Guys that are pushing the cap, having to weigh in the night before a regional show to qualify is a pain in the ass. Super fucking difficult because you have such a small window to like fill someone back out.
Yeah.
That's a problem. If you don't have that problem, you're probably not big enough for classic.
Do you know what a prime example of this is? Look at how many people, I think it was 10 who didn't make weight at the Olympia and they had to recheck an hour later. So if there's if they're all those guys are this close or they're overweighing, what would make you think it's okay to go to a regional show or national level show and you're 25 pounds in the weight cap? You're going to be going against someone who just was fighting for their life to make weight. And, that's probably not the real weight. Maybe they got a little boost. Maybe they're on like 3 diuretics. They typically eat 20 pounds more than that. How are you going to beat them? You can't.
Exactly. And that's something that I learned. I mean, like, I got 4th and when I did USA's. Now, whether or not I think I should have placed higher looking at some of the shots doesn't really matter. But like, at the time I was 6 pounds under the cap, but they then boosted it. And so I was 10 pounds under cap. Like, they boosted it like a week before the shows when they had that weight increase. So it's 194 for 5'9". So I was 10 pounds under cap.
10 pounds of muscle is
yeah, and that's
a lot of size.
And another thing too. I have this conversation with people all the time. I call people out on it. I'm very much an asshole. I'm brutally honest. I'll talk to someone and I'll see them do an open. I'm like, yo, why aren't you doing classic? I can't make weight. And I look at them, and mind you, Dimitri made weight. Trevor made weight. And if Dimitri can fucking make weight, that motherfucker's big as shit. I'm like, bro, you can make weight. You're fat. I was like, you need to be leaner. Like, you can make weight. You're just not fucking lean. Like, don't sit here and think you got to do open when you're, 7% body fat. Like, your hamstrings and glutes aren't even fully in. I was like, and you didn't even pull water. Like, you can make weight. I was like, you don't need to do open. I was like, your coach sucks. That's the issue, is you have a shitty coach.
No, I can't argue with that.
So
if you don't have shredded glutes, are you getting a pro card in 2025, 2026 in classic?
Depends on what show you do. And
a top tier stacked nationals. Can you be in the top 3, top 5 if you do not have full hamstring glutes, all that dug out?
If your hamstrings are in, yes, because you can hide glutes a little bit with classic trunks. Your glutes don't have to be as peeled, but your hamstrings are shown the whole time. But like, for example, Class D is probably the least competitive class in classic because it's so tall. You can look at the Class D winners from each show, and you compare them to the other classes. That's a lot more competitive. Occasionally, you get freaks. Like my year, Austin FC was Class D freak. He's a fucking Olympian, like crazy fucking physique. But it's very rare that you get a Class D guy that fills out his frame and like looks the part. You go to like junior Nats, you go to junior USA's, like the Class D guys not as competitive. Same thing with men's physique. The higher up the class go, the farther away you get from the average height, like the less competitive it is because these big guys don't
as a 6'1" individual, I can confirm, yes.
Like being 5'9", I'm Class B and Class C for men's physique. I'm average height. I have the most competition. You have
the Filipino guys, you have the Mexican guys, you have all the guys that average between like 5'7" to 5'9". You got some competitive classes there.
Exactly. So
I had one question. I always wondered this. What would you have done? Because I know I was trying to convince you to do men's physique and classic for your show that we won the overall and then whatever you turn pro. What would you have done if we didn't do men's physique and you got 4th in classic and national and you didn't walk away with your pro card that show? How would you have felt just in general?
I mean, I would have felt like I should have beat the 3rd and 2nd place guy. I know for a fact I wouldn't have beat that 1st place guy. But
he was pretty damn good.
And he was big. He was pushing the cap. He was like 197, I think, on stage. So like I knew I wasn't gonna touch him. But like I don't know. I probably would not have done North Americans because it wouldn't have made sense. Like I don't think I was close enough to being in the mix, so it would have sucked. I just had to go back to the drawing board. But I mean, I fell short the year prior, fell very far short the year before that. So it just would have been more time to work. But my reasoning,
Were you discouraged though? Like I know you got your pro card, and I know that you're happy that you are a pro. But were you like, damn, I turned pro in men's physique, even though like I have some of the best legs in the world? Like was that ever a
no,
thought?
it's more so like a chip on my shoulder of like, one, I turned pro. I didn't place first in my class. I got second. I came second in men's physique. That's what got my pro card. And then like I sit here and I say that I'm classic physique, and no one questions me because my lower body is
Of
fucking
course.
insane. But like in reality, like I wasn't even that good. I got fourth at my nationals. Now for some people that would be
Yeah,
crazy to get
yeah.
fourth.
I was gonna say
But like,
it was four. It was like fourth at like 40 something, Jay. But yeah,
but
nonetheless.
my standard is I want to be an Olympian. So like that's not anything. That's part of my big motivation in hopping on stage for my pro debut. And also I won't compete if I don't think I'm gonna be pushing the cap. Like I just won't do it. Like
Oh
we go
yeah.
through this.
I mean, if we're getting into peak week and you're 10 pounds under the weight cap, then I don't know if it was worth it. I mean, unless I mean, obviously, like getting top 5 with your pro debut is not, is not something to be ashamed of. But
Yeah.
from your mindset, I know you'd be like, "There's no way I should have did this. I should have taken another 6 months and like kept growing or something." I know how you would think about it, even if
Oh,
it's being impressive. I
would
know
tell
I know
you
what your response would be.
I tell you, hey, after the show, I'm blasting. I don't give a fuck about my markers. Like, we're putting on fucking size. I'm sick of this shit. Because it's almost like a chip on my shoulder of like, I'm very hard on myself and very crucial. So it's almost like not being good enough, like getting it, but it wasn't how I envisioned it.
Of
So,
course.
like, yeah, I'm a pro. And now I mean, I turned pro in 2023. I now finally, like, when I walk around and look at myself in the mirror, like, okay, I look like a pro. Like, I'm undeniably like a very large person. Like
Yes.
before, like when I turned pro, I was like, I'm pro, but like I don't even look that big. Like I
Yeah.
didn't feel like I
I mean,
really like,
big
looked the
is
part.
subjective, but yeah.
Yeah, to my standard. But now like I can go stand next to like these pros in their off season and stuff like that. And like it's not like, oh, who's this guy? You know,
Yeah.
like
Who was the black dude you stood next to? The one that when you just did posing with him?
Maroof.
Yeah.
Yeah, that motherfucker is strong, bro. He posted him squatting like 6 plates the other day. I was like, bro, get the fuck out of here, bro. Like that shit's for the bear.
How are you a beast mode in strength and still a classic pro? But
Bruh,
what I was getting at is like that's a prime example. Like my gyms, I have Olympians. I see Olympian men, women every day. I'm like, oh my god, bro! Like this is what it looks like to be a top 10 in women's bodybuilding or top 5 men's physique. Like I see Olympians every day. So I'm sure in your gym, I don't know how many you have, but I'm sure you see top tier guys, and you're like, okay, this is what I need to do. Versus other people who've never seen an Olympian work out in the gym before. They're quite delusional that they could get their pro card and just milk everybody. It's like, go ahead and stand next to them, bro. I have wellness
yeah.
girls in my gym that make me look like a child. Okay, they're big.
The one is goes. Yeah, and I mean, even still going to all these shows, I get in my head sometimes like, damn, I don't even know if I can go pro now. Like I've had that thought, like if we're being fully honest, like damn, like if I were to cut down, like would I even turn pro now in classic? Like after all this fucking time? Like I don't even know. Obviously once we compete as pro and like my placing, like it'll be pretty clear, but that's a thought that goes through my head. And I think everyone goes through that. There's other coaches I've talked to that have turned pro and stuff like that, and they're like, "Damn, like, could I even have turned pro now?" Everyone's always just like, "Damn, these new people are so much better than I was," and stuff like that.
So my only rebuttal to that, just what I've seen behind the scenes, like I don't know every coach, but I've know some of the top ones in the world behind the scenes, looking at the Olympia cycles. And I sent you the cycle. I knew somebody doing a gram a test. He was doing 1200 primo. He was doing 700 trinase. I'm missing one compound. He had GH in there. He had IGF-1 there. He had insulin in there, and he had like one more injectable. And I was like,
Anadrol?
no, it was all injections. I think he had like a random dose of like EQ in there. I was okay. He's okay, sure. But he just had all these compounds. I'm like, man, that's like 7 grams of gear. Like that's push. He's like, oh, this is nothing. I've had guys push way more than this. And one of the Dubai coaches from the Oxygen Gym commented on my post, and he's like, you're making it sound like the cycle's big. What do you mean the cycle's not big? It's like 8 grams of gear.
Yeah, one thing that I learned, and this is talking to open bodybuilders. Obviously, men's physique and classic is different because you have parameters on your weight and stuff like that. But like
Sure.
most of the open guys run as much gear as they can possibly handle. So depending on your genetics, like I have a really high tolerance for gear. Gear doesn't really bother me. I don't really. Cody can attest this. My blood work's normally really solid.
Flawless.
Even if I don't even take my health subs and I'm bullshitting, like I just don't respond negatively to gear. And obviously, I respond very well. But like these open guys, are running as much as they can fucking handle. My biggest question, I need to talk to them, is where the fuck do you put that oil? Like if I'm pinning like 3 cc's, I'm like, fuck, bro. Where the fuck am
Yeah.
I putting this? My glute's still fucking sore from the last injection. Where am I supposed to go? I don't know
Yeah.
how these dudes run that much gear.
And the cycle
1200 Primo?
Yeah, I was going to say the cycle I was telling you about, it was a gram a test. So that's 10 cc's. I mean, I guess it's, sorry, not 10, that's test probe. So I was test C. So pretty hefty amount. That's four cc's, sorry, per week. Then we had the Primo, which was 12 cc's. Unless they somehow find 200 milligrams, it'd be 6 cc's. They had like 500 EQ just randomly thrown in there. That's like 2 cc's. Then they ended throwing in 700 Tren-Ace. So that's 7 cc's. And I'm like, okay, bro.
What was Ace?
It was Ace. Yeah, 700 Ace. So I was like, okay, man, we're at like 19, 20 cc's. Okay, we got shoulder, glute, quad, lat. We still missing some spots. Okay, we're gonna have to start doing the calf or something.
The hip. Oh my god, they're probably running like 300 milligram tests. Probably it had to be a 200 milligram Primo. There's no way they're running 100 milligram Primo.
Yeah, and this is everyday injections. And I already told you, I couldn't tell you the coaches here live, but I already told you the one coach notorious for it. And he was doing HGH 3 times a day. And he have his client wake up at 3 a.m, hit a shot of intramuscular HGH, slam a shake, have this, and then go back to bed every night. And I was like, oh my God, bro. If I told somebody to do this, they'd be like, no, I'm getting off your team now.
If I was in prep, you could probably tell me to do that. If you told me that in the offseason, I'd tell you to kiss my ass.
There we go.
There's no way I can do that.
he had his for contest prep and off season, Jay. So
Yeah, hey, he's better than me. He can have it, bro. He can have it. He'll be a better bodybuilder than me. I'm okay with that.
And that ain't been a crazy thing, man. I've seen a couple. Maybe we'll have a separate video of just the most insane thing. We'll save it for the coaching talk, the coaches thing. All right. Next question. Who is your biggest inspirational role model in the bodybuilding world or just fitness world in general?
So who got me originally into bodybuilding, and people don't know this, but like when I first started, I worked with Underground Athletics, like Coach Mandis before all the stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Because Brandon Hendrickson was my favorite bodybuilder. I was training to do men's physique. It wasn't until I hopped on and my legs just fucking exploded that then it was like, hey, you should probably do classic. But I was always men's physique. So it was Brandon Hendrickson. And then since doing classic, it's always been Terrence. And Terrence and I are cool, which is really dope to, be like cool with someone that, you've looked up to and draw a ton of inspiration from. So maybe I am biased in picking him as the winner, but hey.
Sounds a little biased, but it's not an invalid opinion at all. Actually, it's a lot of people had him winning. I mean, he had a podcast the other day saying like, I thought I won. They called third place, and I was like, oh, that's me.
Yeah, that hurt. Like, I don't really get amped up off of sports or anything like that, but like his reaction when I saw that he got third, like I felt that pain because like if you've never competed, you don't understand. Like especially when you put it all on the line, and like bodybuilding is a subjective sport. It's not fighting where if I beat your ass, I win, or if it's basketball or football, I score more points than you, like I win, or powerlifting, I lift more weights. Like no, you're in the hands of people's opinion, and no matter how hard you work. Like I tell people this all the time, kids don't give a fuck about how you feel. Like they're gonna make their decision, and so like the pain you could see in his face, I felt that shit, and I felt for him on that one.
Him and Andrew Jacked, those were probably the two most heart wrenching facial expressions when they got called out. I don't know if you saw the Andrew Jacked.
Andrew
he was just blank.
Andrew jumped up in positions though, like he climbed places, like he.
100%.
He shocked a lot of fucking people.
I thought he was in second personally.
Yeah. I don't know, just the density that those smaller guys have is hard to hang with. But he fucking nailed it. He's one of the biggest. Like if we're talking like where your eyes go, like it's jacked.
100%. Hopefully, I want to see him do the Arnold. I want to see him do the Arnold. It'd be dope to see him win the Arnold.
Have you seen him in person? It was that motherfucker. God damn, bro. That dude was on the fucking leg extension with half his leg hanging off. Doing single leg because that's all that fucking fit on the goddamn leg extension. Like, what are they feeding this dude? And what's crazy is like some people just know Andrew Jackson from like this, but like I remember seeing Andrew Jackson and Larry Wheels' videos doing crazy lifting shit, and now he's like
arguably one of the best bodybuilders on the entire planet.
Yeah, he's the third best in the world. Like that's crazy.
How tall is he? I know he's tall, but he's like 5'10" or he's like 6 something.
He's like 6'2",
he's tall.
Oh yeah, he's a big motherfucker, bro.
Oh shit! I knew he was tall. I just couldn't tell how tall because Hardy and them are short. So like when he's taller than them, it's hard to say like is he 5'10" or is like 6'3",
Yeah, because I think Samson's 6 foot. He's taller than Samson.
Damn. All right. Well, I'm going straight to insulin and a growth hormone. I'll be there too. Perfect.
Shit, he must have something else, bro. Some Nigerian genetics or something.
All right. Do you feel pressure to stay? Do you feel pressure to consistently post and stay relevant from like a social media standpoint? And is that difficult when it's like you're off season and you're not, as popping as when you're super shredded and whatnot?
Yeah, there's ups and downs with being someone who competes and then also does social media. Like, it would make a lot of sense financially for me to prep early and for me to go into prep when I know I'll be undersized because of all the attention that it'll bring and all the money that it'll bring. But like, it's hard because it seems sometimes now I've been in the off season for a couple of years, so it's a little bit different. I'll find grooves and stuff like that. But like when I was actively competing every year, it was like, damn, everyone really fucks with me in prep. And then like views go down, engagement goes down. You're like, fuck, dude. You almost like crave that. You save a bunch of content. And I take a bunch of content every prep so that I can continue to post these things because nothing
100%.
catches someone's eyes like pulling the skin off your abs and being fucking peeled and veins running everywhere. So that's the hard part. And obviously, like, it's just like an influencer in general. Like, you have requirements for brands and stuff like that. And sometimes it gets taxing. Like, I lack all the time on my posting requirements because it just, I don't know, sometimes it gets to the point where it's like forced and it was never forced before and stuff like that. And you don't ever want to, I've never tried to come off as anything but genuine and like myself, my authentic self. So like feeling like I'm posting something just because I have to for a requirement has always been something that I struggled with a lot.
Yeah. And for those who don't know, I have like 7 sponsors. Jay has a bunch of sponsors. So typically the rule is you have to post something on your feed once a month and then something in the story once a week. That's not an uncommon thing in a contract. But there are some where it's like you need to post 3 times a week. You have to do this a couple of times. That could be taxing. And if you don't do it, you may strive and they might kick you out the first time, but you'll get warned for sure.
Yeah, and it's easy when you're peeled. Like, if I was peeled, I could just, like, Rise, for example, I could just be peeled and stand there and, it'd get good engagement. But now I know for a fact if I just post a picture of me holding a supplement, like, it's going to do dog shit. Yeah. And it almost makes it, in my eyes, and maybe other influencers, if they're watching this, can attest, like, it almost makes me not want to do it because I know, like, it's not going to do good. So, like, I'm in a sense just posting it to post it. Like, does that really benefit? It's not going to get any sales or anything like that. Like, it's gonna flop. So that's where being creative and stuff like that. Like, I thought about if I decide to train after this, I think I'm gonna do one of those shotgun videos. I haven't done one in a while. I think it'd be pretty funny.
No idea what that means. Oh, drink shotgun?
You never saw the video where I like put the pre in the energy drink and then shotgunned it while like lip singing a song? Oh, it's fucking hilarious.
I'd prefer you do that over like barbell bench or deadlift if I had a choice. So yeah, that's fine. If I had to pick one, sure, Jay.
Just to let everyone know, I don't always do a full scoop of pre, and I rarely ever do the actual energy drink. I dump the energy drink and just put water in there. Like, I'm not insane. I'm 27 years old.
Maybe put that at the bottom of the just disclaimer.
No, I leave it because then people comment. I mean, that's just knowing the social media game. You want people to comment, but
there you go.
I might do one of those videos there, but I don't know. You go through funks and stuff like that, and engagement will spike, and everyone loves a journey, and nothing's quite like a journey of telling the story of like a prep. People get to see the progress. People eat that shit up, but then you get to the off season, and for me, like, I wasn't sure I was going to compete, and I was like, well, fuck. What kind of content am I going to do? I don't even know what I'm going to do. Like, I'm just going to keep posting me because that's what I've always posted. But like,
some people only follow you for bodybuilding too. It's like when you post a car content and people are like, I didn't follow you to see your Hellcat. Like I don't want to see you kill an animal. I can't wait to see some.
I get a lot of that, and I get that because like not everyone's into hunting, not everyone understands it, and that's cool. But I don't give a fuck. You don't like me, unfollow me, kiss my ass.
That's why I had to make 2 separate pages, man. I have my car page in this because people kept telling me I was a materialistic light-skinned ninja. And I was like, okay,
you can't be more materialistic than some other people. Dare I say the name? Dare I say the name?
I can name like 6 names, Jay. That's actually quite a lot, but
I think you know who I'm talking about.
I'm sure I could guess. I'm sure I could figure it out if I had.
3 letters. That's all I'll say.
I'll figure it out. I'll text you on that one later. Either way, moving on to the same topic. Let me word this in this particular way. So, how do sponsorships and brand deals go about when you're a competitor and influence? Like, some people don't know. Some people think that you just like it's like, you do some crazy stunt at BMX bike and like Red Bull reaches out to you. Like, how does it work in the bodybuilding world? If you had to just kind of give a quick summary, how would somebody even get a sponsorship? How does it go? Do you reach out to them? Do they reach out to you? Let's give a quick rundown like that.
Yeah, so I did it backwards. So like I became an influencer before I was ever competing, and it allowed me to basically bodybuild full time. I didn't have to work an actual job. But across the board, like, and this goes for any brand, I don't care what industry this applies, you have to have something of value for the brand. So like a brand chooses to sponsor me because I will generate them more income than they're gonna pay sponsoring me. And instead of running an ad, they can choose to sponsor an influencer or a fitness creator or a bodybuilder who's gonna bring more eyes to the brand organically rather than paying for them, like paying for an ad. Like to pay for like 1 million views or 1 million impressions is like $20,000. So instead of doing that, they can, divvy up that 20,000 to a bunch of different creators, and they will pull in views generating content with their brand and being affiliated. Now, when you're really good, like these pros that are competing at the Olympia and stuff like that, people just want you associated with their brand. And you might not even sell. Most of these bodybuilders, I'll put belt to ass around sales. Like influencers will outsell most of these bodybuilders. They do not sell for shit. Like some of these guys in the top 5 for all these categories don't sell for shit. Then you get some, 17-year-old kid who's an influencer, he'll outsell all of them. But
combined,
yeah,
sell like
all of
5
them
people.
combined.
Yes.
Oh yeah, like knowing what some of these influencers sell, absolutely crazy. But they're paying to have them associated with the brand and make the brand look really good that they have, these champion bodybuilders, high level bodybuilders in the mix. The best way, if you guys really want to get sponsored with the brand, is rock with the brand, get their attention, make content in their stuff. Like brands are very likely to sign people that already they can go to your page and they see that you love the brand versus, oh, we're paying them to like the brand. Like I was affiliated with Rise and loved Rise and pushed that, and now I've been with Rise for like 5 years.
Yeah, one follow up to that too, just because like I've been friends with some of the owners and like they kind of tell me what they're looking for. You have to watch out what you post too, because sometimes there's a difference between like being authentic and like posting some like clickbait crap. That's okay, you can do whatever you want to, but like you'll see people post political stuff, racist stuff, and like some of those things pop back up. And when they Google you and they research your name and it comes up like, oh, Cody said this super racist thing, or Jay said this super crazy thing about this, like they're gonna see them and be like, I'm not associating with you. So remember, the internet's forever. If you're gonna do some out of pocket shit, understand that that could cost you a couple of sponsorships, or beefing with somebody who's a higher up in that company and they find out you're on that brand, you're getting booted off.
Yeah, 100%. It's a small industry too. That's what people don't realize. The fitness industry is really, really small. So like if you're starting off like and you make a bad name for yourself, shit. Good luck.
Good luck.
Good luck. Have fun with
this year alone, I think we've seen the downfall of a good like 4 or 5 people. Doesn't matter who we're talking about because it's a handful of people. But once people turn their back on you, good luck trying to get them back. It's done. It's a wrap.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. This is following up to the fitness influencer thing. But what's one thing misunderstood about the common fitness influencer?
So common influencer, like what are we defining influencer? Someone who does it full time?
I just say, let's just say someone who's not a competitor. Let's just say someone who's buff. Maybe they happen to randomly compete, but they're not a pro. But somebody who just does full-time social media content, or that's their dream. What is just something they misunderstand? For example, most people I know think that all influencers are rich. Some people think that all influencers make $50,000 a month commission, and that is not true whatsoever. So something like that. So just one thing that most people don't know about them.
Most influencers, quote unquote, are broke. They don't understand how to monetize. I know I've talked to people that have millions of followers and are working some personal training job. And I'm the type, this is not a plug or anything, but I'm the type, I've always had the mentality that like everyone eats. And I've obviously figured out how to do it full time. I've done it for the last 5 years. So like I always try to help people and like monetize. Cause like if you've done the hard part, which is building the following, like there's no reason why you should be working a regular job. Like you can fully do this. But I think people think it's a lot easier than it is. And if it was as easy as everyone thinks, then everyone would be doing it and making a ton of money. But that's not the case. It's way easier to go work some shitty 9 to 5 where you have someone tell you what to do versus running your own business. Because if you are an influencer and you're successful, you are the business. You make your own schedule. You got to be on top of things. It's your fault if the money stops. It's your fault if the views stop. Like all those things are tied into your income. The more views you get, typically the more money you make and stuff like that. And so like, especially these influencers that are strictly reliant on like brand deals and stuff like that, haven't built a brand for themselves. Like there's a lot of pressure and it's hard. It's hard to stand out in something that everyone is trying to do. And so to get to the point where you build a name for yourself, it takes time. and you have to be different in some way, shape, or form.
Yep. Now leading on to that too, because I'm a couple. How old are you, Jay?
27.
So I'm 27. He's 27. I'm 31. So when I was I'm the same age as Jeff Side and John Skywalker. So I was in that same era when I was like 18, 19. I was like, damn, I got to compete against these guys for the market. Insane. But what I'm getting at the time is like, at that time, all you had to do was be buff. Like I was average, in today's standards, I was pretty average. And like I was getting contracts just by being a 19-year-old competitor, right? Just a light skin, guy with a tribal tattoo. I got contracts just by that. If you're just a random buff guy today, like that means nothing. You post a bunch of random gym selfies, some weird angles and like that low, weird lighting in the gym, like you're not making any money. There's thousands of people doing that every single day versus before you could just be buff. That's why a lot of bodybuilders don't sell, right? They kind of just flex the mirror and then that's their content. They don't have a whole lot of value or instructions or tips or anything.
Yeah, and that's where a lot of the hatred comes. I mean, like when I first moved to Texas working out at Destination Dallas, like I felt like everyone looked at me there like super sideways because they're like, who's this fucking douchebag? With that, mind you, I didn't look the part. Like I didn't look like a bodybuilder, and I was just starting in my bodybuilding career. But like, who the fuck is this kid? Who do you think he is? Why does he have a camera? And like, you get looked at sideways because all the bodybuilders hate the influencers because the influencers do in a sense what they wish they could do. Most bodybuilders have to either they're selling drugs on the side, like they're the plug, they're the local plug for PEDs, or they're working a regular job. And maybe it's something that's tied into the fitness industry, maybe it's not. But like very few are able to do it and make, a living, especially to be able to pay for bodybuilding. The higher up you get, the more expensive it gets. Some people are blessed. There's some influencers that make a stupid amount of money. And there's other influencers that do very well for themselves. And I think that's where I kind of fall in, is that category there.
Would you say on average, it's not uncommon to say the most influencers from just brand deals and all that, they're making anywhere between like 500 to 5,000 a month? Is that pretty realistic to say from your opinion?
Majority of influencers will fall in that range, but there's a lot of influencers that will fall above that range of making way more than that. But with standard contracts, like some of these contracts with these influencers, they're not getting paid a salary. They're getting paid commission and product. That's all they get paid.
Yep. So that's usually how it starts too. Because for my very first contract, I think I was like 19. I think I got $500 a month and then like a $300 stipend to supplements. I was pumped. I didn't even look at the contract. I was like, yep, give me that, sign it. So yeah.
I remember my first $500 month for the Rise, bro. I like cried in my car. Like I was living in like a fucking apartment with my boy at the time, and I was like, "Damn, this is crazy."
Yeah,
like,
it's good. It's good money.
I fucking made it. If I got that check from Rise now, I'd have to call something. Like, hey, man, what the fuck? What the fuck did I do?
You're missing a zero on this paycheck here, my man. What's going on here,
bro? What am I doing wrong? Like the fuck. And the other thing too is longevity wise is, for anyone who's maybe they were popping who's watching this, like you have to be able to adapt. The industry changes. Like, for example, now sales aren't what they used to be. Like influencers don't sell what they used to. Like with different brands, like code usages used to be really high, but now with things being available everywhere, everywhere running sales, like code usages, at least for supplements, aren't what they used to be. Like I don't sell anywhere near. I used to kill it with Rise. I used to do like my high months would be like 500 to 600 orders. Average would be like 300-400 orders. I don't come anywhere near that now.
What does that equate to in money? Just so they know, is that like 40K a month in sales, 30K a month in sales?
Oh, I don't know how much is that. My best month with Rise, I think I made like 4,800 in commission or 5K in commission.
It's pretty solid.
Like 15%, plus my salary that I had at the time. So yeah, and certain things, supplements are a bit harder to sell than like clothes. Clothes are obviously really easy to plug, like shot controlled, like you can just wear it. Versus supplement, it's a way different world to
they're buying it once every 2 months or anything. They might get one type of pre-workout a month or one type of protein a month. It's not like the same if you have a hoodie you like.
Exactly.
All right. Okay, only a couple more questions for you, Jay. I had to throw this one there. I had to have one. I had to talk shit about one thing. But what are your thoughts on science-based training? And what do you think? And following up to that, why do you think bodybuilding is one of the only sports where a professional bodybuilder document his entire prep, talk about how he lifted, how he did his diet, how he did whatever? Probably didn't talk about his cycle, but talk about everything else. And people will look at him and be like, "That's stupid. That's not optimal. That's not the way to do it." But those guys will be top 5 in the world and have the best physique to ever walk this earth. So, what are your thoughts about that combo?
So, like, obviously, you have to follow science to a sense, right? There's certain things that are going to be more optimal, but I truly think the biggest magnifier in training is intensity, and that's what separates the people at the top. But it's not only just the science base, but I think bodybuilding is the only sport where people look at it and think like, oh, if I took drugs, I could do that. When
Mm,
bodybuilding is arguably one of the biggest genetic sports in the world. Like if you don't have the genetics for it, I don't give a fuck what drugs you take or any of that. But everyone thinks that they can just hop on drugs and they can be CBum in a couple years. Or,
yeah.
they could go stand next to Samson if they just blasted more tren and hopped on this. But like you don't see me sitting here saying, hey, if I took these drugs, bro, I'm gonna be the next LeBron. Like I'm 5'9", that shit ain't happening. It's very clear to the general public that like you can't just take drugs and magically be this great, NFL player or this NBA star. But people really think that like, oh, if I just take drugs, I'm gonna look like that guy. But like the genetics are the biggest factor in bodybuilding, in my opinion. And
You know why that is though, right? At least what some of it is. The average I'm sure you've talked to random adults at some point, maybe not as much as I do on a daily basis, but I'm sure you talk to a lot of random adults and like they do genuinely believe their favorite player is natural. They believe that the 6'5" guy on the football field that runs the fastest 40 in history and looks like a Mack truck and could rip your head off is natural,
yeah,
And that's usually where it comes from. It's like he had the hard work. He made D1 sports. He made it pro because he's just a genetic freak. And it's like, well, no, he is a genetic freak, but he's also genetically blasting 12 units of growth hormone every day in the off season. Like that's different, but I think that's what it
yeah.
is, man. I know basketball players use gear. I know football players for sure. I know card players. I know people who do beta blockers. Like every sport or hobby uses some type of performance enhancing compound because it's going to make them better at that particular hobby or sport. So to think that you could just do a random drug and become a bodybuilder, delusional. But what do I know?
Yeah, and like you don't see that though with CrossFit. It's only bodybuilding because they think of it as just like a physique. You don't see people saying that, oh, I could be the next CrossFit champion or whatever. All the
Yeah.
motherfuckers on steroids. Them girls, them guys, they're all on fucking steroids. Whether
Yes.
you want to believe that or not. Most of them are on steroids. But like you don't
Yes.
see people doing that. But people will generally think that like, oh, that's how you look for being enhanced. I've gotten this comment. Like, oh, I can look like that natural. Yeah, I'll give you everything I own. You can have it all, bro. You can have
all that gear to look natural is my favorite comment. You'll see it.
yeah.
You'll
And
see it. Everybody's put all that gear to look natural and like the dead rose emoji. It's like, okay,
here's a
bro.
fucking wake up call
Okay.
for whoever's watching this. If you're new to fitness and all that stuff, I would say probably if you go to the gym at any given time, probably 30 to 50% of the people in there are on some sort of enhancement, whether it's a peptide, TRT, their blasting gear, and you probably would only select maybe one or two people that be like, oh yeah, this person's probably enhanced. But there's a lot of people blasting, and to have that crazy steroid look takes time. Like I didn't look crazy after my first cycle. Like biggest pet peeve of mine. It used to piss me off so much when I lived in the Swole House. It was me, Alex. It was me, Alex Eubank, Brandon Clark, and Flores. All three of them were
Yeah.
natural. I was the one enhanced. And when I first moved in there, I was off cycle, and then I ran my cycle and did prep. I got compared to them, and everyone said they all looked so much better than me, and I was the one on drugs. And then they would use that to make an argument that maybe that they were on drugs because I was enhanced. And
Yeah.
then obviously show day came. I ended up beating out Flores and stuff like that. But that shit used to piss me off because it'd be like, everyone's like, "Oh, well, you're enhanced. How come you don't look like that?" It's like, bro, I ran one cycle and went from 176 to 204. It's like, what more do you want from me? Like, it takes time. These freaks that you're talking about have been on gear for years.
Yeah. And we're talking being generous 2 cycles a year minimum, if not 3, for the last 10 years. That's what some of these guys are doing to even get their pro card. Some of these guys have done 5 years of competing and they're not pro yet. So 2 or 3 cycles a year, 5 years, we're talking at least 10 to 15 cycles. But then they want to judge you when you did one singular cycle when they're 14 cycles ahead of you. It's pretty insane when you think about it, when you really compare it.
Yeah, and you just brought a point, and I want to ask you: do you think it's too, or well, what's that? They word it a certain way, but is it too easy to go pro now? Everyone's just winning pro cards these days.
So yes and no. Yes, I think that it's easier than it was like 15 years, 15 years ago when it was only like the overall winner got his pro card. I
Oh
think that
yeah,
was a little,
bodybuilding,
yeah,
100%.
yeah. But even the other divisions, it was like that too. I think they all had to, whatever was that. I think it was only men's physique and open. I don't think there was a classic. That classic's still pretty new. Regardless, that you had to be the overall winner to get your pro card. So you had to beat everybody. This is 400 people in all the classic amount. You had to win that to win your pro card. You were the best of the absolute best. Nowadays, it's in your height class. We have A through F or whatever it is. There's 30 people per class. You have to get top 2 to get your pro card in most shows. Now, do I think that's overkill? I think it would be really cool to have the winner only of every height be pro. I feel like that'd be kind of cool in my personal opinion. But to say that it's easy to turn pro now, I think is also quite delusional. Some of these guys are killing themselves year after year after year just to even get top 5 in nationals. They make it look easy, but they've still done 10, 15 cycles to get there. So I feel both ways. Yes, I think it's easier. I feel like there should be harder to get a pro card, but it's also not easy. The random person can't just go do a cycle and go win USAs in classic. It's not happening. Or bodybuilding. It's not happening.
Yeah. Like, it's easier in the aspect of there are more opportunities, but I'd be very curious 15 years ago, what were the numbers of competitors?
Yeah.
Like,
was there 30 guys per class?
No. Yeah. Was that a thing? Probably not. Probably not. Like, you go to these classic shows and you have 30, 40 people in Class B all gunning for their pro card. And obviously, we touched on earlier, not everyone's competitive, but I don't know. People talk about like only the overall winner should win. I think it should be like the 5. Or if you're going to do 4, like say classic, the top 4 guys. And if the 4 best come out of Class B, then fuck it. Who cares? Because sometimes you'll see people that don't get the pro card should have better physiques than people that are in other classes, but they got their pro card because they're not the same class. Because at the pro level, we're talking about being able to make that transition over. There is no fucking height classes. Nope. Everyone steps on stage next to each other. So, like, if we really want to be real and set people up, then, like, have everyone go on stage and you call out the top, your first call to the top 8 competitors there. And maybe the top 3 turn pro, whether they're all from Class A or they're Class A, Class B, and Class C or whatever it may be. Like, you want to make it like that. But at the end of the day, too, is like the pro, you're not meant to turn pro and then instantly be able to compete. There's a 10-pound weight gap. There's a reason for that, so that you have time to grow. Obviously, if you're doing open, you'll see guys more likely to be able to make that switch. But even still, like, I think when's the last time we had someone? I think the last time we had someone turn pro and then go to a open show would either be Andrew Jack or Carlos, whatever that.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
would be him. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, he's freaky, but like that's like the last time.
Yeah. And you got to remember there's more than one division in open bodybuilding when it comes to amateurs. You have like featherweight, lightweight, whatever those light heavyweight, like you have like a bunch of those. Now, I don't think a featherweight or some guy that his weight cap is 160 pounds. Once he gets his pro card in that, like, I don't know if his career is over or not, but what do you think about that? Now that we get to it, I have one guy doing it. And that was our actual game plan. He's like, I don't think I'm classic. So he's going to go do the lightweight. I think his weight cap is 171. So that's what we're going to do for bodybuilding. And his dream is to be a pro in classic, but he doesn't think he's get his pro card in classic. So we're going to do both. But what do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's a pro card. It's just like we do masters pro cards, right? You turn pro at 50. Like, what's that pro card? Are you going to be able to go do anything in the pro league? Probably not. If you turn pro at 35 plus, you're probably not the freak that you would need to be unless you got a very late start to be competitive in like the pro league. So it's like, okay, someone turns pro in featherweight. Like, are they really short? Can they still make their classic weight cap? Because they can still make the classic weight cap, then yeah, I mean, it would make sense if they're still undersized that, you can go pro in that. Once you get a pro card, you got a pro card. So I turned pro in men's physique because regardless, I had an off season ahead of me. And I'd rather have an off season as a pro for a pro debut than an off season as an amateur to still try to turn pro. So it doesn't translate. I mean, at the end of the day, what you see translate the most are the light heavyweights, and maybe they end up in classic or like 212 or something, and the super heavies. That's pretty much what you see transfer over the best. Occasionally you have some of the other divisions compete in classic, but for the most part, those dudes are kind of just stuck. Like, they got a pro card and that's the end of the line. That's something that I told myself at USA when I got 4th, and I looked at the 2 dudes that were ahead of me, like they were both older than me. And I was like, my ceiling, what helped me go is like my ceiling's so much higher. I was like, I'm so young in this sport, and these guys are, they got like 10 years on me, if not more.
They're early 30s, if not older.
And like, I'm in the mix, and I haven't, and who knows how many years of training they have on me. So it's like, I didn't hang my head too high because I knew that in the long term, like, y'all will see me in the pro league. I don't know if I'll see y'all in the pro league.
That's savage. Clip that. One question though, and I'm being serious when I ask you this. If you did your pro debut, let's say you took 4th, 5th, you were in the mix though, like you were worthy of that. And you talk to the judge, like, I like your men's physique. Like, you're great in classic. You were top 5, or let's just say you got second calls, whatever it may be. And the judge's like, I think you have a better men's physique. Would you ever, I don't know what the word would be, just go down to men's physique if you thought you had a higher chance of making it to the Olympia? Or would you do classic because, yes, you have big legs, but it's your passion? So winning versus your passion, if you had to pick one, obviously that's a shitty situation to be in, but you know what I'm asking.
It would be a very interesting situation because I'd be like, so you want me to have the biggest legs in men's physique and some of the best legs in classic, but then to put board shorts on? But I know bodybuilding. If that's what the judges told me, I'm gonna listen to the judges because I know how bodybuilding works. You
Yep.
know, but like I'm
Tamara
gonna,
literally made a video about that the other day. It's like, you don't choose your division, the division chooses you. Like,
yeah,
that's true, 100%.
yeah. Dan's a great example. Like Dan, I don't know how to pronounce the last name. That men's physique dude with crazy back.
Yeah,
Um, crazy. Like he was gonna do classic, but like his legs just didn't respond. Like your genetics will ultimately choose your physique, and obviously you can be kind of in like a weird position. But like I was skipping legs, and my legs didn't shrink. Like my legs look stupid in fucking board shorts. They look really fucking dumb. And my upper body is very much like proportionate to itself. So like that's why I did good in men's physique. So I don't
yep,
know. That'd be one of those things like, okay, like I'm pushing the cap. I can't be as big as these other guys because my legs are so fucking big. How am I going to
yeah,
be as big as Corey Morris when my legs are twice the size of him? Like I need that muscle up here to hang with those dudes. But
yeah.
if
So
that's
now
what they
you'd have
wanted,
now we'd have to do leg day once every 2 months instead of once a month. Okay, now
I
we're gonna
just
do
wouldn't
legs
hit
even less
legs.
often.
I would just never hit legs, and they probably wouldn't shrink. To be honest, I don't think they really would shrink.
That's rough. Well, yeah, I was curious. I know it's a pretty crazy question, but I mean, it's a valid question. All right, last two questions. I'm done with you. I was trying to keep it at our tops. And if there's anything you want to bring up on, feel free. But if you had to pick one person or one group of people, who would your dream collab be for anything? It doesn't have to be fitness. Just who would you love to be doing a video with? Let's give him a shout
Ro-
out.
Roman Atwood. Which, if he were to watch this, would probably be like, "What the fuck?" Because like his son's actually really into fitness, and he had Alex Eubank on the podcast. I've never been so jealous of someone ever in my life than when I saw Alex Eubank on Roman Edwards' podcast. Like that's my favorite YouTuber of all time. So I'd love to do a video with him. And then, if we're talking like filming wise, like there's some people that I'd love to go hunting with that are really big in like the hunting industry. Like Joe Rogan would be sick. Cam Hanes, I've gotten to meet Cam a couple times, really dope. But like it's not the people that you would expect. Fitness wise, like I've met a lot of the people, and like being in the industry, like I don't really like. I don't care to like, oh my God, so and so shit. Let me go get a picture with him. Like, I'm not that kind of person. Like, you're a regular person. You take a shit like I take a shit. We're all the same. I'm no better than someone that comes up to me and takes a picture with me just because I have a following. Like, I'm a regular person. Like, the glory goes to the man upstairs, not to some person that I'm idolizing. So, it would be dope to get like a lift in with Terrence, which is probably something that I could fucking make happen with.
You
We
could
trying
probably
to
you could
make
probably
it.
do that,
Oh,
especially when we know like one of his best friends is Josh. So I mean, and I know Josh, Josh, that might be able to work out.
well, yeah. I mean, like I was supposed to. One of the times Terrence was here, I was supposed to work out when he was with the Rise, but I think I was out of town or whatever. We were supposed to get a lift in, so it'd be really dope to train with Terrence. Yeah, that's pretty much it. There's not really anyone else that I can like think of like big fitness industry wise that it would be really dope to train with or make a video with.
Got you. All right, cool. No, that's good enough. And this is my last question, and then we're pretty much good to go on this topic. But I want to end this with pretty much anybody. But if you can go back in time and tell yourself one particular thing, or advise yourself on something, or warn yourself for something, just one particular sentence, phrase, advice, what would it be? Doesn't matter what age. It could be 12, 16. Doesn't matter. But just pick one. What's one thing you get to go back and tell your former younger self?
Mm. Yeah, there's a lot of different things that I could think of, but I only get one. That's hard. Only getting
Right.
one is really fucking hard. Um, I would go back to probably when I first started social media, and I'd tell myself to sprint no matter how long the distance is. And the meaning behind that, as in, if I would have stuck with posting YouTube when I first started content 5 years ago and continued to grind at it, where would I be at now?
A couple
If I
100,000 subscribers minimum.
Exactly. Like, there's a lot of things that I started and maybe kind of fell off with and didn't stay consistent with. So had I stuck with those and grinded, where would I have been at now? The famous quote, like, how far are you willing to sprint when the distance is unknown? So that's the first thing that comes to mind is just things like that, like YouTube. I got old YouTube videos, like gaming videos way back in the day when I wanted to be this big YouTuber. Like, what if I would have stuck with those when I was 15 years old? I'm 27 now. You do something for 12 years, you get really fucking good at it. You know, you're bound to
Facts.
get really good at it. So like, who knows where that could have been now? Who knows how much different, my life would have been. But I don't think I would really change a part of me doesn't want to say anything because all those could change like who I am today. And I'm very happy with the man that I've become today. And they're all because of the different things that I've gone with and gone through. I definitely probably would have gave myself some business advice and some things I could have made hella fucking money with had I caught the wave really.
That's facts. Well, I would have to say, Jay, I mean, I've known you forever. I mean, not forever, but at least like 5-6 years minimum. And I have to say, out of most people I know that make pretty good money, you probably made some of the better finance. I mean, you have a Hellcat or had a Hellcat, but like I know people, man, that like they make like 20K a month and they spend 30K a month. And that was never your personality, You still be rocking the rep shoes. Like, I don't know to be people that do that besides me. So
yeah, but I spend my money. I definitely have a spending problem. I spent a lot of money last year. I have a very bad habit of spending, but I spend it on other shit. I'm not a flashy. Like, I always ask myself, if no one else was around, would I still do it? Like, that's what's kept me from buying a Rolex. The only thing I wear is this bracelet that says I am second. And that's it. Like, I don't like wearing stuff on my wrist. So like me buying a Rolex, like, why do I want to buy a Rolex? Like, that's probably something that I would rock so people know that,
yeah,
like I'm successful, but I would never buy a Rolex. Like, I don't care for that shit. So like I only really spend money on things that like the shit I really love. And not shit that like is gonna make me look a certain part. That's why I didn't care about the Hellcat, getting rid of it. That's why I bought a newer truck because I love the truck. I use the fuck out of it. So I've never been one to be like trying to be flashy and stuff like that. That's just not who I am.
makes
Forever
sense.
humble because I know bread can crumble.
I can't confirm. That's why we're no longer light skin Cody, light skin Jay. We are whatever color we are now. I don't know.
Well, if you look at our credit scores, we definitely don't identify as light skin.
Hey, bro, 814, bro. Before I just dropped all the money to businesses, I was about 814. We're doing all right. We're doing all right. Well, did you have any final question topics? And then, of course, I'll ask you and anything you want to plug. But anything from me before we head out?
Do you have anyone lined up? This is just more so like coaching question. Do you have anyone lined
Sure.
up here? I guess maybe I don't think you said you have anyone this season, but maybe next season that should be in the mix of their pro card.
Probably 3 people. Yeah. 1 natural and then 2 enhanced people. But the only thing, man, I talked about this before, the delusional factor is like, I either have people that they want to try and hurry up and go to nationals ASAP. And it's like, they're not ready. And I keep trying to help them go to the following year so that we for sure go out there. Even if they don't win, I would be embarrassed if they're not in the top 5. I'd be like, why did we do this? It made me look bad. You're going to be mad at me. Like, why are we doing it? So that's my first one. The second one is, and I've had beef with clients this year specifically, I've had to kick a couple of people off. It's like, they keep wanting to pound more gear. I'll give them, let's just say, I'll give them 300 milligrams of Trinase, which is a pretty hefty amount. That's not a small amount. And they'll be like, I want to run 5. I want to run 6. My buddy's doing this. I want to do this. Or they took something I didn't give them on show day. They got ill. They did this the day before the show. They got ill. And like, just, it definitely burns me out as a coach. I love coaching. I love it more than anything else. It's something I'm good at, but telling you, man, there's
I'm surprised you get crash out clients like that. Because I used to when I charge less, but like we charge close to the same thing. You're a little bit more expensive than me.
I don't know. I don't know. And it's like, and they're all the same age too. Like, they're not usually older. It's always usually like 25 to 30, where it's like they're an adult, but they're not like someone who has a bunch of kids and whatnot. They're just kind of in that age. And it's the same thing, man. Same story. They're like, well, I'm young. I need to hurry and get my pro card so I can have a family. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I want to run a grandma test, 700 trying this and that. So it sucks, man, because I want to help them. I'm not going to be like some of the coaches we know that they take 100 clients, they forget about who the client's name is, they send them out to nationals, don't check in with them, send them to regional shows, forget to check in with them. Like, I'm not going to do that. What am I going to do with a paycheck? But then you type in my name into Reddit and it says, this coach is dog shit. I don't want that to happen. It's probably not a good feeling. I wouldn't know, but sure, it's a bad feeling.
Exactly. I wouldn't know. Yeah. I don't know. I haven't had that issue. Maybe it's because I advertise myself as being an asshole, and I'm like brutally honest, like in my content that like people. I don't really get too many delusional people, or when I do, and I tell them, I got a great example. I have someone who's supposed to compete 2 weeks from now, 14 days from now, or not this weekend, the weekend after, and he came to me like 5 weeks out from another coach. He was a referral from one of my other clients. I said, bro, I don't think we'll be ready. I'm gonna kill you. We're gonna see what happens, but like there's probably zero chance that we're gonna be ready. And even if we do get peeled, you want to win, like you don't have the size to win. Like we gotta hope that no one shows up. Like you need a lot more tissue to compete. Like that's just the fact of the matter. He took it on the chin. He was like, cool. He's like, all right, we'll give it a shot. Like that's how most people are. Like
I get 1 out of that conversation I had this year, probably 2 out of 12 reacted in your manner. The other one said, oh, You don't believe in me? Is that what it is?
Okay.
What?
I don't know if I don't know if I can say this.
What?
I don't know if I should say this on air, but are those people international clients?
No, there's some Middle East, some American. It's there was no dead set one. There was one of each though. I definitely had Middle Eastern clients that were difficult. I've had Canada clients difficult. I've had Australian clients that were difficult. I had 2 from Turkey. They were very difficult. I don't know much about Turkey, but they were very difficult. But yeah, some of them were international, but it wasn't like this ethnicity was way harder to coach than this ethnicity. It wasn't like that.
Interesting. Yeah. I don't know.
It was the age demographic was just weird. Usually like my delusional people are usually like 16 and 19. They're very impressionable and they kind of just follow whatever the biggest topic is on social media. But when I get someone who's like 25 to 32, I guess I just assume that their brain is fully developed and like they know like this is how it goes. I'm hiring Cody because I know I'm going to get peeled. And then they're like, well, okay, you gave me 300 trend. That's not enough. Let's do 300 per day. It's like, no,
I wonder. And obviously, like, if you guys didn't know, I've learned a lot of my coaching from Cody. Cody's been a great mentor. So this is not me trying to take a jab, but I wonder if it's because I've posted all these wins, is that I don't get questioned.
Yeah.
If that's why. Like, obviously,
because
like, the year prior, I didn't get any credit for bringing in people peeled. I brought people in fucking shredded, but no one gives a fuck. No one cares that you got this 140-pound dude inside out. His glutes are straight. He's got stripes. No one cares because you didn't win. No one cares that Dimitri was peeled at summer shredding and he was peeled at nationals because he got 3rd call-outs. And no one really cared that I got someone peeled. They wanted an OCB pro card. Like, no one really cared. It wasn't until, like, people started winning overalls and stuff that, like, I started getting treated.
Or pro cards in general, for sure. It's a respect thing. It's a word of mouth thing.
But it makes no sense because it doesn't define, like, how good it, like, obviously showcases that I'm a good coach, but, like, that's because I got great genetics and great clients given to me. Like, there's a lot of coaches that could have turned a lot of the people I turned pro. I just happened to be the one. Maybe not Mitri. That I don't know if Mitri would have had the same trust and stress relief with working with someone else. That one was a bit personal.
Probably not.
But like you just don't get that same credit without it. And it's something that pissed me off. I've had people say, like, damn, you got really good at coaching. Like, no, motherfucker, I've been good at coaching. Y'all motherfuckers were just blind. That's what I said at the beginning of the year. I want my respect as a coach because I'm putting belt to ass on all these influencers. Ain't none of them can fuck with me on the stage, weight loss, any of that shit. I run circles around all of them. And then I proved that this year. So
I think one thing not a lot of people talk about, I'm not throwing a jab at anybody, kind of, sort of, but I told you before, but this year specifically, this year and last, especially when you turn pro, like I had every influence you can imagine, bro, from video games to young LA to dark, but just random people hit me up and I was excited. I was like, oh, that's awesome. And even this year I've had a couple people and like, they would have turned pro no matter who their coach was. It would have just been cool for it to be me. And they were like, all right, cool. Well, when do we start? I'm like, oh, I got a spot open in a week. We start in a week. And they're like, okay, so when did we start? Like, what do I do? It's like, well, first you pay me and then I give you a contract and then like we start. And they're like, oh, whoa. Like, no, I want this for free. Like, you're going to use me for marketing, coach me for free. Well, this coach over here who has all the influencers that like does it for free. Why don't you do it for free? I was like, because I have a car, I have a mortgage, bro. Like, I'm not going to coach anybody for free. I don't coach Jay for free. Me and Jay were good friends before we started working together. I'm about to send him an invoice right now, actually. Hold on.
Hey, I'm hoping that the invoice, hopefully I get the first pro honor and it's the old rates, not these fucking new rates.
Yeah, 5% off. But same ideas. I don't know if you've had that happen. I don't know if it's happened to you, bro, but when I post Sacre PK, I coach Sacre from Fortnite. I had every what's the game? Fortnite and then Call of Duty. FaZe. Hit me up and they're like, oh, can you coach me? I'm like, yeah, here's my invoice. They're like, what? I'll give you a shout out in my Twitch video. It's like, bro, I don't play Call of Duty. I don't need a shout out. Or they're like, you want to collab with a stream, bro? It's like, I don't play Call of Duty. Okay. And I don't play Fortnite.
Because like, I don't get that. And maybe it's because a lot of people I'm friends with in the industry. So maybe they don't want to work with me because I'm not fully made the transition, but I've transitioned a lot more into coaching. First, you've always been coaching. You were never like the influencer. Like some of these people, I'm sure they've hit you up. I've probably been at sponsored events with them and stuff like that. So maybe they're a little bit hesitant, but that's surprising because I don't really get anyone ask like to be. I don't think I've ever had anyone ask to be coached for free.
Really? I like minimum one, like in terms of big name people, at least one a month. And if it's not every month, it's every other month. And I told you a couple weeks ago, it was a pro who wanted me to coach for the Olympia. Great men's physique guy. And I was like, that'd be great. Like, I'd love to do it. You're already peeled. Like, we don't got to do too much work. He's like, I want it for free. I was like, I might be able to give you a small discount because like, that would be cool. It would help me. It would help you. He's like, like $20 off, or like I get like $500 off. I was like, bro, I'm not coaching for free. You know, you wanted me to charge him like $50 a month. And I was like, all right, bro, I know that you probably may not have a lot of money, but like, I'm not doing it for free. So either way, we butted heads, and he would just, I felt very disrespected by the way he came at me for it. You know, I could see I asked for a discount. He's like, do it for free because I'm a pro. That was his spiel to me. It's like, that's not going to work, bro. It's not going to work.
100%. And I've coached people for free, and I used to coach a lot of people for free because I was trying to prove myself as a coach. But now, like,
100%.
Like, unless they're like, there's like very, very select people that I coach for free, and even then, they're probably just going to pay the discount. It'll be a big discount, but like, I don't need it. I have a full roster. I don't need more clout. I've proved that I can have people win. So like, once you get past that stage, like, stop. And anyone who's listening to this, stop coaching people for free, because I've had a lot of people fucking spit in my face, and that shit pisses me off. There's an influencer who like Zay referred me to, or referred him to me.
To you.
I built his plan, everything. Stops fucking responding. Posts a new coach, but when he was on stage, he looked like shit. So that's what you get. You shouldn't have been looking for the best prices, man. You should have went with the best work in the city. Shit like that enrages me. Like, if I go and you know, I throw you a bone, and I'm willing to do something for that. Like, at least show me some love back. You know, show me some love back. Don't fucking, or be a man and just tell me that you're gonna go with a different coach. Like, don't.
I got one last story to finish up on. I didn't talk too much about this one, but work with this guy. First off, top tier genetics. He's natural. He could have got his OCB. He got his OCB pro card. So he hired me 16 weeks out. Amazing genetics. Everything was going. We didn't butt heads one time, and we were maybe like 3 weeks out. And I'm not blaming TNF for this, by the way, but TNF posted like, I take creatine and something else in peak week. It was like some like random concoction. I don't remember what it was. A while ago. It was like creatine something, and my guy's like, I want to throw in creatine. I want to throw in this. I want to throw in glycerol. I was like, I don't know what that's going to do to you. Like, look, you're 5% body fat. We're 20 days out. Do not change a thing. And we just kept butting heads every day because he kept wanting to add more stuff. And I know that it was like body dysmorphia or like self-doubt, but it was just pissing me off. I made him look so good. And then like, he just blocked me one day. Like, it was like 2 weeks out, and I was like, okay, well, fuck it. You know, like, best of luck for him. And then someone sent me a screenshot. They're like, oh, look, your guy turned pro. I was like, did he? I'm blocked. How would I know? So they sent me a screenshot. He switched coaches like 7 days out. And the coach is like, we had an amazing prep together. I took him over, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, okay. It's, you know, you only took him over for 5 days. But, you know, either way, the moral of the story is sometimes people are going to leave, man. You know, and like when they spit in your face about that, it's quite insane.
Was it an OCB Pro card?
It was an OCB Pro, yeah. It wasn't NPC. But the dude looked amazing. Top tier genetics. He did great. He was a really cool guy. But just something happened the last 3 weeks. I don't know if that's when the other coach started recruiting him, and that's where he got an attitude about something, but just completely switched, bro. Insane.
And you said the other coach was TNF?
No, it wasn't TNF. Oh, no. He saw a video of TNF competing, and TNF was like, oh, I do creatine something in the video. And like my guy saw that, and he wanted to copy what TNF was getting ready for his peak week. And I was like, I don't know what TNF is doing his peak week. I know TNF. I don't know what that's doing. That's not relevant to our peak week. And like, he just lost his mind when I said no. He just lost it.
Yeah, and a little, what I'm going to throw my 2 cents in because I love talking my fucking shit, is when you see influencers like that and you see what they're doing in peak week, go look at their clients. If majority of their clients aren't peeled and majority of the clients aren't conditioned on stage and know what conditioned looks like on stage, maybe what they're saying probably isn't as applicable. Maybe they just have really good genetics. Like, just because it works for you, and that's something that I had learned with coaching, because I mean, Cody can attest to this. I probably am coached significantly different than most people. My carbs don't get that low. I will fucking jump off a fucking bridge if Cody tells me to. Most people aren't like that. So you got to learn that your body is probably not like your favorite influencers. Like, if you're one of Cody's clients and you think that you're going to go through prep and your carbs won't go below 225, you probably got another thing coming.
Good luck. You're going to have 25 carb days, not 225 carb days. But you're going to have shredded butt cheeks. So
you will be peeled, but you're not going to get no carbs, brother.
Yep. But yeah, that was my final message. That one just pissed me off. That was like 14 weeks of blood, sweat, and tears, and like make this guy look perfect. And then the coach took over like 5 days out. And was like, "Yep, I took credit. I coached in the last 6 months."
Dude, I've had friendships ruined over
that didn't happen,
shit, bro. I've had friendships ruined over that shit. It's just like, if you're gonna leave a coach, just be respectful. Just tell them why. I tell everyone when I get on. I get a lot of. I wonder if you get this. I get a lot of consultations of people that are currently with a coach or have just left a coach. All the fucking time. Like, that's probably like my number one intakes. And so I always tell them, like, I ask who the coach is because if it's someone that I know, I want you to go and tell that coach that you're leaving and you're coming to me. I don't ever
Yeah.
want to seem like I'm poaching because it's about respect. It's a small industry. Like I
Oh,
never want
100%.
someone to think they're like, oh, I poached this client off of so and so or whatever. So like, bruh, just be respectful. That's all it is. Just be an adult and just communicate. Hey, it's not working for me. It's a business contract at the end of the day. You hire a coach, you hire one of us because you want to be peeled on stage. If you're not satisfied with it or the process of it, then you have the right to fire me. I don't give a fuck. But just don't be a bitch about it. Just tell me.
Yeah, no, and I don't think I really have too much to add on to that. I mean, I'm trying to think, there's one more thing I want to add to it. Oh, last thing. This is relevant, and we could finish off on this. But have you ever? I've had this a lot, so I'm asking. Have you had clients who were with you and then they left? So whether they were respectful or not, they just left, switch coaches, and then they hit you up later, like, "Hey, can you take over?" Or "Hey, what do you think about this? Hey, what do you think about the cycle?" Hey, they're looking for that 2 cents, but they left you because they obviously thought him or her was better, right? They wouldn't leave a coach if they didn't think they were better than you. That's just not why they would leave. Unless they couldn't afford it, that's different.
So I have a story. I only have one coach who or one client that has left and then came back. I don't have too many people leave for the most part. Like just out of the blue. They typically will leave after their goal is completed. They've lost the
Of course.
weight, or financial issues come up. Like I'm not cheap. But I had this client. We're in prep. He's going through some stuff or whatever. I knew his ex girlfriend, or his girlfriend at the time, from even before he knew him, because my one of my buddies used to talk to her, or whatever. And I remember I'm at this show, and she came up to me, talking to me, asking me about his prep. They had broken up or whatever, or maybe they weren't on good terms. Who knows? And she was asking me about coaching and stuff like that. And so I followed her back on Instagram. Didn't like a single picture, nothing. 8 weeks go by, and I'm finally like connecting the dots. And this girl is like now like kind of like active in my DMs, like in a sense trying to holler. And I think I had brought her some old like merch that I had or whatever because I had a bunch of extra. I don't do the clothing brand anymore.
Of
And
course.
I asked her, I was like, so like at around this time, and I gave her the time date of the last time he checked in. I said, like, what happened? Something happened. And what she told me is that her man's, my former client, her ex, had crashed out that I had followed her back and they completely ghosted me, entirely ghosted me about this, and like was just like, oh, he's trying to do this and this. Mind you, I didn't like a picture, none
Yeah.
of that.
Look at our DMs. There's not a single
Like
message.
it wasn't anything to do, like literally nothing at all. But just like had this big fit or whatever. Fast forward probably 4 months. He hits me up to work with me again, says that he was going through a lot or whatever. Like he's sorry about how it went down. I'm like, it's okay, man. I get it. Like people go through things. Work together. We're in prep. We're getting ready for the Phil Heath. We're like three or 4 weeks out, and he'd send me like pictures randomly like throughout the week, and I would just like it. I'm a very short and sweet person. Like
Yep.
I'm not gonna sit here and tell you you look good every time you send me a picture. And he uh he said, and we went and worked out in person at like the 4 week out mark. And we kind of hashed it out about the previous issue, about kind of what happened, and kind of
Of
like laughed
course.
about it. And like he told me his side of things, and I got some information that I obviously won't share on the internet or anything like that. And so then I'm like, okay, we're good. We hashed that out, like we're on the same page. Like he's gonna do the Phil Heath, I'll be there obviously because Mitri's doing it. And like 2 weeks out, he hits me with this long ass message saying that like he no longer wants to. He feels like I haven't changed the plan or anything. Like basically like crashing out. He's gonna go with a different option. And I was like, bro, I texted you like a week and a half ago. You didn't answer me. And I was like, I haven't changed the plan because you're still losing weight. We did a
Yeah.
rush prep, and you're
What is there
still
to
losing
change
weight.
when you were in shape and you're progressing quite fine?
I
Yes.
was like, I don't know what you expect out of me, but I was like, all right, whatever. And so I was looking for him at that show. He wasn't at that show. Probably 3 4 weeks ago, another really popular coach out here in like the
Mm,
DFW area
sure.
messages me and says, man, I wish I would have asked you about him before I took you on. It just sends me this long message about how this dude was a pain in the ass. It was like some people are just like that, man. Like it's fucking
Yeah, so,
crazy.
I could confirm, I've done this, a couple years longer than you, but in general, it's like there are some bad coaches. I'm not gonna say I'm the perfect coach. I've made some errors. I've never left somebody on red or not did their check-in, but there are some bad coaches. We all make mistakes sometimes, but there are also bad clients too. There are some clients, they are genuinely delusional. They have no sense of accountability. They don't follow directions. They think they are better than what they are, would be the best way I would say it. They want the results and all the progress ASAP, and that's just not how it works. And then they just keep coach jumping, like that's why I have my contest prep rule. I don't know if you have this. I have it. If I contest you for a show and you leave, then like you can't come back. It doesn't interest me. I don't want to coach anymore. Lifestyle, you can leave and come back whenever you want to. But a lot of coaches have that. I don't know if you have it, but a lot of contest pro coaches, like once you leave, you can't come back. I don't want to deal with it.
Yeah. I don't have that in like contract, but like I just make the mental note, like, yeah, I'm not working with you again. You're a pain in the ass. Like that dude, I'll never work with him again. There's someone else that I'll probably never work with again too. But
yes, I mean, I have a couple. You know about all of them, so yeah, you know not to take a lot either. we need to make a coaching group chat. Just like, bro, this was the worst con of the year. Stay away. This one, it's like the T app for bodybuilders.
Dude, I've already had it with some other coaches that I know that are like coaches that I respect too, that have sent me either people that like that they used to work with, and then also they tag me on their story and they're like, what the fuck? Like there's been lots of crazy shit. So I mean, one of them I told you about. Like,
yeah, of course. I mean, you've witnessed some of mine as well. So there's we'll save this for the next one. We'll have a coaches corner thing, and I have two more coaches involved that I could think of. And we'll hop in one thing. And we'll talk about a juicy coaching drama, because everybody talks about the competitor drama. Let's talk about it from a coaching standpoint, right?
Yeah, man. Let's talk our shit, man.
Yeah, bro. You can't cancel someone who doesn't care about getting canceled. So all good.
You can't cancel the truth, brother.
True. Well, finishing up with that. Give us a quick shout out for any of your plugs, your codes, anything we need to know, how to get in contact with you for coaching, and let's go with that.
So at Jay Lane on Instagram, Jay Lane Fit on TikTok. If y'all want to holler at me, you guys can use code J for Rise, code J for Controlled. I'm not going to plug my peptide company because Cody is going to have his here soon, probably by the time this is out. So you guys can go rock with him on that stuff. Also, code J for Hummus Fit. I think Cody has a code too.
I do. Fit. Yeah.
Is it Dial?
Yes.
Yeah, so you guys can pick and choose there. But if you guys want to work with me, you guys can just DM me on Instagram. That's the easiest way. Or you can just go to the link on either TikTok or Instagram and just book a call. It's a free call. You can sit there and pick my brain, and I can pick your brain, figure out if we're going to be a good fit for coaching or not.
It's quite important. Make sure to get the interview call just in case you both don't like each other. It's quite important. Hey guys, thanks again for watching. For tuning in for Dialed In. There will be an episode probably every week, and Team Dial to the moon.